Run pass option, man. This is another episode. We got week 5 coming in. A lot of crazy things going on in the sports world. And, one of those things is that we're having our first Tuesday game ever in the NFL. Like, what? This
That's
isn't
weird.
college football. This
Nah,
is
yeah, that's weird.
literally the NFL, and we have a Tuesday game. So, like, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We got 4 days of football. I'm excited, to say the
I mean,
least. Uh,
Saturdays are coming up too, right? Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Maybe we'll get some Wednesday games. That'd be cool. I'm down.
every day is a football day, man.
Let's
Every
do
day
it. I
every day
mean,
is a football day.
NBA did it, right? NHL did it. Let's do it. NFL every day of the week. When's the new week even start? I don't know anymore.
I'm with you, man. If we can put pro football on the tube every day, I'm there watching it if I can. Whether it's on my
Yeah.
phone or the big screen, it's up. They got a viewer. They got a fiend over here.
They're making some money on that on the commercials on Tuesday. Nobody's watching anything else.
Exactly, exactly. And man, I just it'll give people another opportunity to, play some bets. I know DFS. I know that, the money lines and everything
Mm-hmm.
is going crazy. So you're in
For
Vegas,
sure.
man. You know how it is. An
Oh
extra day
yeah.
of
I
betting.
mean, there's guys, and girls chilling at the bar watching the game with money on the line. Anywhere like Chili's, there's guys with their game, those betting slips, like nervous looking at the TV. So betting kind of makes the world go round in Vegas. And that's sports betting. A lot of the high dollar guys, high rollers are doing sports, they're doing poker, they're doing blackjack. But sports is a big business here. And fortunately for us, it actually goes towards our schools. A little chunk of it, Clark County, even though we are the worst, one of the worst school districts in the nation. So maybe people need to start betting a little bit more so we can get more of that money.
I put my betting on hat when you're speaking about
Okay.
betting because man,
No, for sure.
I just want to say I won a quick $100 last week. That was pretty cool.
Sweet.
And
Easy.
just a little DFS,
For
and shout
sure.
out to everyone out there who's playing it again. Um, I have a little lineup here for you guys if you guys want to
Oh,
check
there
it
we go.
out.
Screenshot that.
I I
Daniel
got
Jones, CH,
CH.
Hunt, Mike Evans. Okay. Slayton. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got a little
I'm
budget
running
Slayton on the bottom.
this
Oh,
Slayton
that's a big roster,
and
bruh.
Daniel Jones. I
Yeah.
got a boom boom.
For the
So
Giants. Okay. Yeah.
I'm riding high on this $100 win real quick. So I'm just letting it ride,
Yeah.
letting it
Yeah,
ride.
and it's gonna take you about 6 days to get rid of that $100 you won. That's how it works.
Usually, man, I wouldn't put it
Oh,
past
for
anyone,
sure.
but I cashed out 75 of it, so that was cool.
Good. Good. I'm sure your girl was happy about that.
It's a drop in the bucket to her. It's just
Oh,
online
okay.
shopping,
You're a big
online
baller guy,
shopping,
like whatever.
online
Online
shopping.
shopping. No, I feel you on that. My
So
girl's buying a lot of stuff for our new house. So she's like,
very
"Babe, we
exciting,
got
by the
these
way.
mixing bowls. Like, do you like these ones compared to these ones?" And I'm like, "Do they mix stuff like eggs?" She's like, "Yeah, but that's not why we're buying them. I'm buying because
Ex-
they look good." I'm like, "Wait, okay, go. I guess I like them. Can we spend less?"
ex- Scary times we're living in. We gotta be
Right.
frugal. We gotta be frugal,
Oh,
whether it's buying stuff for a house or in DFS. And that's why I
frugal.
thought that it was a great week to go Slayton and to go Daniel Jones. That
Okay.
stack against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been giving up
Yeah,
30 plus points.
and the Cowboys
And
can because of that offense just keeps people on pace. You have to try to keep up. So I think it's a solid pick, especially in DFS. I'm not sure about
50,
streaming Daniel Jones or anything like that, though. Honestly.
yeah, $5,400 for Daniel Jones. I'll take it.
Hmm.
$4,800 for Slayton. I'll take it against a Dallas defense that has just been depleted. They lost their confidence. They don't know if they can,
There's
get a
no
stop.
the leadership is standing on the sideline. That's a rough position to be in.
And you know what? I went in with another player who I'm high on, Kareem Hunt. I think he's a top 5 to 7 back
Yeah.
this week, especially considering Nick Chubb is out. He was a flex play with Chubb, and now
Mm,
he's back to his old self, pre-Chubb, where he was a number one RB1. He led the league in
yeah.
rushing. Hello, only like a couple of years ago. So, and
No,
he's
for
just
sure.
what, 24, 25 right now. So, he's in peak form. He's better than ever, and I think that having him in a DFS lineup for 6,500 is a steal.
Oh yeah,
Um, I got Travis Kelce in there. I think that Travis Kelce, he had
yeah.
okay ho hum game against the Patriots. The Patriots played really good defense
So you're getting some money
overall.
out of him. You're getting value out of him on that price.
Yeah, so I'm
Hopefully,
excited
he
about
catches a
that.
touchdown or two for you in that DFS lineup.
Definitely excited about that.
So
Speaking of
let me
the
ask
game
you a question
today.
real quick. Let me ask you a question. There's a lot of injuries that have happened, in the last and injuries and COVID stuff in the last 2 weeks. What are some of the moves that you've made personally that has kind of prepared you, maybe in the draft or picking him up in waivers or trades,
Mhm.
that has prepared your bench to have guys slide right in after those injuries?
A great question, and I think that leads to our. We have two buys this week. We have multiple buys, but the
Mm-hmm.
big ones that I'm speaking of that I have players like Galladay and Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones,
Mm-hmm.
all on buy,
Jones, yeah.
and plus these injuries that happen. So to answer your question, I've picked up the Mike Davises, the James Robinsons, the Miles Gaskins. These guys that you picked up early on, and now they're flex plays, and
Oh,
that's kind of prepared me for these weeks. But even now, like you're seeing players come on a little bit stronger as of late. A Tim Patrick. There
yeah.
is a
Higgins is kind of catching some momentum.
yeah. Higgins is catching his stride. Especially with AJ
Deontay
Green.
Johnson's back. So we'll see how that kind of melds back into that Big Ben and the Steelers. And I've had him on
Deontay
bench. I've
Johnson should
had
have a role.
Leighton is my flex kind of bench guy that's back and forth. If I need him, I put him
Hmm.
in. If not, wide receivers are just so easy to come by, especially if you're in a 10, 12-man league. You want those two kind of wild cards on your bench for bye weeks, but also they could catch fire. And though that's, Slayton and Debo, a lot of guys got him for value because of the injury and stuff like that. And he's going to get back in and get back up to speed. So I'm excited about him as well to see kind of him, Deontay Johnson in this. They're kind of in the same mindset for me. Deontay, I got him at super value towards the end of the off season, in our draft, and I had him on my bench. But we're going to see him slide back into kind of that role with Ben, there in Pittsburgh. So we'll see
Agreed.
exactly how that pans out. You know what I mean? But it's exciting to have him
Agreed.
on the bench and kind of have him as an option.
Absolutely. And which kind of segues, there's been some really like wild trades, wild like,
Mm.
just kind of offers I've seen on the Twitter sphere. And I wanted to speak about one that I got in my DMs today. So on the camera, I think his name's AMS on the thing,
Mm.
but he asked me specifically. He said, "Hey, would you trade Jonathan Taylor, Terry McLaurin, and Damian Harris for DeAndre Hopkins and Josh Jacobs?" So again,
Oh, so he's offering you those two for that
no,
package?
not it's not a trade to me, but it's a trade. He wants to know if he should accept Jonathan Taylor, Terry McLaurin,
Oh,
and Damian Harris, or Hopkins and Josh Jacobs. So what I told him was, you're in win now mode. Even though your team is, 1-3, I think that it's been kind of a hectic ride early on. So I said, you know what? If you can get DeAndre Hopkins and Josh Jacobs, go ahead and make that move. You have to go ahead and make that move.
no, you're shooting your shot at that point for postseason, and giving up the guys that he's getting to get those two, yes, and amen. Like those kind of moves don't really come into play. You know what I mean? And yeah, we'll see, but he needs to make this move right now. And that offer is going to slide. It's going to be gone before he can even see it. It's like smash accept for me.
Agreed, man. I like the way you think. And then another one that kind of came into my inbox today was Bada Bing, Bada Boom from Caleb. He says,
Your
"Would
inbox,
you?" Yeah, my
my
DMs were
text
popping
message.
today. My DMs were popping on Twitter today. So Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, or Justin Jackson? And I was like, that was a
Between the
great
three this
question.
week,
Yeah, who would you start in your flex? PPR. He said Ayuk, T. Higgins, and Justin Jackson. Those are
Higgins.
his three options.
It has to
That's
be
where he
Higgins.
went. That's where he went. And the only thing where I told him that I'm hesitant about Higgins
Hmm.
is they play Baltimore. And Baltimore is gonna it's a division game. There's not a
Yeah,
lot of big plays. There won't be a lot of touch. I don't think there will be a lot of
yeah.
touchdowns.
That's what makes it a little iffy. Like that's what makes that question happen. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
Higgins no matter what. So he's kind of thinking maybe Ayuk is going to have a little bit of an easier pathway to get him some points. But
Hmm.
I have to stick with Higgins. They need to score the ball, especially if Lamar is on fire. So on the other side of the ball, that's what I'm saying is like that offense may have to step it up and get Higgins the ball a little bit more to move the ball and score some points to keep up with the Ravens.
I won't disagree with you, man. I think that uh, Brandon Ayuk playing against Miami, they're going to have some opportunities where maybe some big plays. Debo Samuel wasn't practicing as of Wednesday. I'm not sure if he got in a limited practice today or not, but I know that what they are doing is expanding this guy's role, Brandon Ayuk, and he was a
Yeah,
first round pick. He was a first round pick. He scored a touchdown. He
barely.
made a
But he
highlight
was.
play.
You can't really take the first round pick away, but he was back there
Yeah,
for it.
and if you saw him last game, he made some ooh ah plays. So I just kind of think that it's week 5, it's the second quarter of the season, and some of these rookies are going to start making some bigger plays, kind of like T
Yeah.
Higgins. But I do see Tyler Boyd and AJ Green, the shell of AJ Green, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
ahead of him a bit. So we'll
Oh, for
see.
sure.
I don't think you can go wrong with those guys. Those are both young, talented wide receivers that are going to make some plays. But yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was a great question. Shout out to Caleb, Red C Hopkins for the question. That was dope.
For sure.
And some of my plays that I think that are really gonna, play out this week and hit regardless are, and this is assuming that this game's gonna play between Buffalo and the Titans. I'm really, uh, concerned about that game. Especially we're not knowing if there's gonna be more positive cases or not. But I think George Kittle's a smash play this week. I think
Easy.
Cooper Cup, Cooper Cup, and Ben, and also um, Jared Goff. That Jared Goff Cooper Cup connection against Washington, who just changed quarterbacks, is going to be a nice connection. I think that CEH against the Raiders, my Raiders, is
I
going to
don't know if you
be
said Metcalf already, but you need to be playing him
DK,
in every situation
DK.
you can. Simply,
Ev-
like
ev-
I hate pointing out
Every
the obvious, but I think Metcalf is kind of forgotten a little bit
must
in
play,
Seattle. So
a
he is a
must
must
start.
play. He is a must start right now, and keep him in.
He's hot.
He's going to
He's on
have maybe
fire.
a week that you're like, oh. Now this is the thing is if he has if he has a week that's less than like an 8-9 week, shoot a trade out to someone. See kind of what the feeling is as far as value. Someone may not be too hype about him yet, and not really understand who he is or have too much hope in him. That's
This
definitely
is
he has a couple weeks that he's just like struggling because he will.
DK to the rescue to your team.
Yeah,
DK to the
that's Chase,
rescue.
isn't it? uh,
DK to the rescue.
my nephew loves that freaking show.
Paw
I don't even
Patrol,
know what
Paw
it is,
Patrol.
but Paw Patrol. I guess it's their generation's Cops because I loved Cops as a kid.
What you gonna do? What you gonna
They
do when
come
DK
when they
comes
come
for
for you.
you?
No, but definitely play Metcalf. Slayton, slay him in there. Just slide him in and play him. And this is actually just speaking from my roster. We'll go in more in depth with that on Sunday morning. But I got Higgins, Ridley and Metcalf and Slayton as well because we went double flex.
Oh,
So
those
all
are
wide
good.
receivers, and I got Aaron Jones on bye, Tanyan on bye, and Deontay's kind of sitting there, kind of wondering if I should get him into the flex or not. But that's where I'm sitting right now as far as these guys. Wide receivers is so easy to come by, and that doesn't change. COVID hasn't changed that. You just have to kind of keep it simple, keep it foundational, get your running back set, worry about wide receivers. And even now, like you don't have a running back that's solid or two, make some moves, move some wide receivers, even a tight end. Don't be afraid to get a running back. You need them to win to win the championship in the end, and that's why we're here. It's like we want to do everything we can to help you win championships.
Agreed, very agreed. So yeah, like you heard it there first from Fantasy Salesman. Make sure you're snatching up those RBs via trade. Make sure you're sending out a few offers
Mm.
and make sure that you're prepared for the weeks to come because it looks like this is the beginning of the COVID buys,
Yeah, the
or
beginning was
just
fun. 2020
uncertainty,
was fun, and now
uncertainty.
here's COVID hitting us. So,
Exactly, where you're gonna have to deal with COVID and the buys, So
hmm
just be prepared to have multiple options. Matt said it from day one that hey, when you draft a few running backs early on, you won't be stressed out. You won't feel like you're out of the loop because you're fighting on the waiver wire for that one guy that had a good week because you're prepared. You
yeah,
made those decisions ahead of time. So, we can't stress it enough. Make sure you're, doing your due diligence, plan ahead. There's guys like Chase Edmonds, there's guys like J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Swift. They will be relevant later on in the season. Maybe not now,
yeah,
but later on in the season. Just like Singletary, Miles Sanders were last season. A lot of those
for
guys
sure.
came on later on in the season. And it's interesting to say, like you said, that there's a lot of wide receivers that are easy to come by, wide receiver twos, threes. So
Yeah, and there's these young guys too, like you were mentioning earlier, on the waivers right now in your league. There's like three or four of them that hit it big, and they could. They're gonna have like rough games, but they could in the back end of the season be someone that the quarterback ends up trusting going into the 13th, 14th, 15th week if we get it, that you'd love to be picked up right now and holding on to just to see. You got to shoot your shot, especially with waivers. You getting them for free or fab or whatever it is. Shoot your shot on some young wide receivers. See what happens. Have some fun. I mean,
yeah,
that's
there's
I think that's the gist of kind of my thoughts this week on COVID madness and injury madness and buys and all that.
it's one of those things where get comfortable, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If
No,
you're
for
that
sure.
guy, if you're that guy who isn't comfortable, sending out some what if trades, or if you're that guy not willing to drop a player that has just been so awful.
Hmm.
I've looked on the waiver wire and I see somebody dropped AJ Green. Another guy dropped T.Y. Hilton. There's owner, I don't know, fantasy managers
Anxieties,
that yeah, that kind of
worries,
given up on some of these players, and those are times where you can maybe, if you have an extra spot on your bench,
pay
go ahead and
off.
scoop some of these guys up.
No, for sure.
It'll definitely pay off in the long run. And just in terms of week five, who would have thought that you may not have a guy like Derrick Henry for 2 weeks back to back, or you may not be able to play the hottest player in
Christian
the league.
McCaffrey, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yep.
may not have a Christian McCaffrey. We didn't think we
Saquon
so
Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
We didn't think these things just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen for the next couple weeks? What is next? Is this the last injury? Is
Yeah.
this the
Well,
last?
and to go off that, what is next and how does your bench look? Because
Mhm.
what's next is going to hit you no matter what. You could control what the bench looks like as far as getting that support in and filling those spots if needed. So that's kind of my thing for the week. It seems like prepare. This is when you prepare for playoffs. And if you're not, you're done. Just give up. Think about next season. Enjoy a beer while you watch NFL. I don't
It's
know if
what
I
it's
yeah
all about.
no for sure. I thank you guys, analyzers, for tuning in this week. This will be recorded on our YouTube, and go ahead and check us out there. Our website right here, Sack Experts. To my right, David coming out of Sacramento. I'm Matt, fantasy salesman, fantasy analyzer is kind of the conglomerate. You can find us at Fantasy Analyze. Thank you, analyzers, for kind of tuning in with us, kicking it on this evening, and it'll be recorded. So let's prepare for this week. COVID madness.
Keep analyzing. I love when you say that. I just love when you say
Keep
that, dude.
analyzing, guys.
Keep
It's very
analyzing,
fun.
guys.